I went to the board meeting last night, which I think was very interesting because you guys may have heard that we now are looking for another new president. Maybe you didn't hear this. We're looking for another new one because something happened with the previous guy that we were going to be like, yes, no, apparently no. I don't know exactly what the no was.
He's on administrative leave.
Yeah. Yes, that's all I've heard too.
Yeah.
Is the paper say anything more than that?
Well, they said he had a planned long trip to Africa, a family.
That was in the papers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And but when COCC called his college for references, they would just say that yes, he's worked here, but he's on administrative.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a discrepancy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so that's as much as I know too. And that was the focus of the board meeting. We were kind of kicked out before they were talking about that last night. But while I was there, we talked some numbers, which was fun. I say we, I wasn't allowed to say anything, but I was sitting in the back just tapping my feet happily and very, very happy because Kurt, who was in here on last class, talked about this $800,000 that was found at the state level. Actually, 70 million was found, I believe, and it got dispersed, or 7 million.
And we got 800,000.
We got 800,000 of it to offset, and the caveat, I don't know if he mentioned this or not, I was running it back and forth. The caveat to that was all of that money had to go to defray tuition costs. In other words, there was a planned $5 per credit increase on the books. That eradicated it. That essentially brought in enough money to cover the $800,000.
Well, you eradicated 4 of it, and then there was $1 left, and they voted.
That's what they were discussing last night. Was it actually covers it, depending on what number you use. It either covers or almost covers it. And that's what the board. I learned last night just how student-centered the board of directors at the school is, because Dr. Middleton and the CFO were talking about different management strategies for balancing the budget over the next 4 years. And they gave 3 management strategies, one of which was not to eradicate the $5 increase, but to knock it down to a $1 increase. $1, according to which number you heard at what point during the night, was either equal to $142,000 of revenue, $170,000 of revenue, or $200,000 of revenue. So it depends on what point of the night you were listening, because 3 different numbers came out. Much like the news, depending on when you turn it on, when you start listening. At $142,000 times 5 is less than $800,000. So clearly, $800,000 would cover all of the revenues from this extra $1 increase. At $200,000, it's not. $200,000 times 5 is $1 million, which is not less than $800,000. So it depends on what number you listen to. So the board was like, wait a minute, if we use the $142,000, which is a prediction, then the money completely covers the cost that we were going to raise tuition. And our CFO said, yeah. And then Charlie Miller, who runs Miller Lumber, he's on the board of directors at COCC. He's like, well, then there's no reason to raise tuition at all, to which most of the board agreed. Now, I don't know if they did a vote on that last night. I had to leave before they actually voted on that, but the board was pretty much unanimous in their favor of not raising tuition at all next year. What makes me nervous is not next year. It's the year after. Because that was a gift from the state, who managed to find $70 million tucked in some mattress somewhere. I wonder how many more mattresses exist that can try this for 2 years. That's what I worry about. And I worry about then the tuition going up $6 or $7 2 years from now. That's what makes me nervous. I hope my nerves are just me being conservative and worrisome and trying to be future planning, but I get nervous about that. I'd much rather see like $1 increases each year than like a $6 increase 6 years from now. Because a $1 increase each year, if you manage it wisely, will actually be more money than a $6 increase 6 years from now, if you put it in the right places. So anyway, good news from the board. The board loves students. I knew that. But hearing them vocalize it last night, Charlie and the guy sitting next to Charlie, if I can't remember, good people that are really, one of the things they said was, staffing levels are up 4.4%, why are staffing costs are up 4.4%, why are instructional hirings down 1.6%? Why are we taking money out of the classroom? Now, that wasn't what was actually happening, but the fact that they picked up on that and thought that was what was happening, they're trying to protect students. It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy because they're right in your guys' corner. So when tuition goes up, realize it's a worst case scenario for our board. It breaks their heart to raise tuition because they believe, one of them actually mentioned the very statistics I think I told you guys, that the price of higher ed is outpacing inflation. Disturbingly so. I've got a quiz planned for you guys in a couple weeks where you explore that. It's disgusting. Charlie Miller actually mentioned that student debt has now surpassed $1 trillion in the country. He actually said $1 billion first, but I was like, trillion. And he's like, what did I say? He's like, I said, you said billion. And he's like, oh, God. And remember the graphic. Remember the graphic.
Big
So,
difference.
a slight. Some economists are saying the student debt bubble is going to be the next economic downturn if people start defaulting on their student debt loans. It's staggering, which makes me so happy to do things like as simple as offer you a free textbook. Put the videos online if you can't make class. You can save yourself some money after you take the class again if something happens. I've had a number of students that just couldn't get into class for all kinds of reasons, but could finish the class because they could watch the videos. For like if they had to miss like 5 classes in a row because of surgery, but they could keep with class. So that it's my small part, but it makes me stoked to see that the board is making a much larger dent in that cost for you guys too. We're still one of the most affordable in Oregon, even though our cost of living is one of the highest. So, anyway, blah, 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 blah. There we are. Good board meeting. At least that what I was there for was good. Very, 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 very student empowering. Plus I got to see Cody and Kat, who were both student scholars going off to the Oregon academic all-star team. Total friggin' intern, Cody, on the website. Yeah, total. I was going to see him last night. Oh, his tattoos, his tie. There he is. So it was good. Good night for students last night. Good night for students. I needed that. I'm in the middle of negotiations, which doesn't always feel like it's about you guys. So that's stoked. Anyway, how we doing?
Good.
All right. Oh, my chest. Feel better about telling you guys that. It's fresh in my mind too. Good. So pay attention to that stuff. The president thing was an offshoot. That's kind of a fluky. I volunteered to be the next interim president until they find another one.